Hello and welcome to Wish You Were Here Today from Dubai. Well, I've been here all week and I can really understand why this is becoming such a popular winter break. Now, if you want a break from the wind and the rain, then listen carefully, because we're giving away another fantastic holiday in our competition. Well, if you're tempted by that, then you have to answer this question to be in with a chance of winning. Lines are open right now, but don't hang around, because they'll be closing shortly to give us a chance to select a winner and announce the name at the end of the show. So go on, get dialing. Seattle is the foremost city in the Pacific Northwest. Now, we know this because Tom Hanks was sleepless there, the US comedy Frasier was set there, and it's home to Starbucks, Boeing and computer billionaire Bill Gates. Now, can you believe that Mark actually had to prove that he was over 21 in some of Seattle's night spots? He was very pleased about that. Now then, if you fancy going up Space Needle, it'll cost you between £7 and £8. But if you book dinner at the Needle's Sky City restaurant, your trip to the top is free. And the monorail, which Mark took to get there, is out of action at the moment due to a fire last year. And so there's a shuttle bus which runs about every 20 minutes. Now remember, at the top of the show, I told you about our competition. Well, if you haven't entered yet, you've still got time. And here's a quick reminder of the holiday which you could win. Lines will be closing soon, so we can pick a winner. And you never know, it could be your name that we announce at the end of the show. In the meantime, we've got all of this still to come on Wish You Were Here Today. Welcome back to Wish You Were Here Today from Dubai. Now, I'd never really thought about coming here, but I've now been here all week and I've really enjoyed it. Dubai is just 6.5 hours away from London and seems to be able to almost guarantee year-round sunshine. Dubai is a highly successful, wealthy modern city. Its ever-changing skyline has led to it being called the new Hong Kong. Dhows actually originated in India hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but these ones behind me could have come from India, Pakistan, Oman, Iran, or even East Africa. And I think it's a wonderful juxtaposition of old and new when you look at these battered old boats compared to that ultra-modern skyline behind. Traditionally, dhows would unload their cargo in the docks and their goods would be bargained over in the souks. Even though times have changed, pretty much everything is still traded through here, from bags of spices and incense to fish caught by fishermen all the way from Kerala in India. Dubai City is built either side of an inlet called the Khor Dubai, even though everyone just calls it the creek. And a good way to see it is by taking an abra or water taxi. That's if I can get on one. The majority of people you see here are immigrants, brought in to satisfy the city's huge demand for labour. There are about 150 abras ploughing up and down the creek. They're very cheap if you actually want to charter them. But if you want to use them as a taxi, like those guys there, it'll cost you about 5 pence to cross from one side to the other. With year-round sunshine and winter temperatures in the 30s, Dubai is fast becoming one of the world's premier holiday destinations. The one and only Royal Mirage is one of dozens of new hotels that have been built recently, and I've decided to check out what all the hype is about. The style of some Middle Eastern hotels is a bit full-on for me, lots of glitz and gold. But here it's just incredibly opulent and very tasteful, and it's so calm as well. It's almost like you're in a temple. I'm staying at the hotel's Arabian Court. It's built in the style of a Middle Eastern palace. The hotel is luxurious, but certainly not the most expensive in the city. There are 172 rooms, all of which have a sea view and a balcony overlooking the hotel's kilometre of private beach. The hotel is situated in 65 acres of gardens and pools and has a segregated adult area, as well as family areas with kids' clubs. Based on Turkish and North African designs, the hotel's spa has 2 steam rooms, jacuzzi, plunge shower, whirlpool, and most importantly, an Ottoman traditional heated marble massage room. Now, if you've got the dosh, Dubai is just about close enough for a long weekend break. And in my books, any weekend chilling includes a bit of pampering. And here we have a spa upstairs, a very smart one, and this is a hammam, or Turkish bath. It's very lovely. A 30-minute hammam massage costs £25. One aspect of the hotel's design is to keep the traditional Arabic theme running throughout. In the shisha pipe smoking garden, I met up with Hamad, the royal falconer to the Sheikh of Dubai, for some insight into Arabian culture. So talk to me about the UAE. I mean, I think a lot of British people don't fully understand about Emirates and country and what's what.
Actually, United Arab Emirates, it's part of the Arabian Gulf that there's Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar. And they are all the same culture, same heritage, and people also, they have the same mentality.
And you're very happy with this influx of Western tourists that fly in for 2 weeks and have a holiday?
Yes, because when they come here, they don't know anything about it. They think the Arabian man, he have a camel at home and an oil rig and 2 barrels of oil, and that's all, a tent. But we are not. We are having everything. We can show you the civilian way or the desert way.
Dubai is a city literally built in the desert. And when you hit the outskirts, gleaming skyscrapers are replaced by mile upon mile of sand. A trip out to the dunes is a must for all visitors. Now, before we get going, driving through the desert can't be that good for the environment. Do you have set rules that you have to stick to?
Yeah, of course. In this area, it's the Dubai Desert Conservation Reserve, and we have certain routes we have to follow it without damaging the environment. All this area, it's fenced. It's 225 kilometers square, and it's a protected area, and we have lots of animals like oryxes and gazelles.
Right, so very important to stick to the roads.
Yeah, of course, sure. Yeah.
I'm quite excited. Let's go. First up, dune bashing. Whoa! How can you tell what's on the other side? I mean, it looks like a knife edge.
I don't know what's on the other side.
That's not reassuring.
Jump, small jump.
Whoa!
I'll take you now to one of the bigger dunes and the high ones.
And the reason we've come here to this high dune is so I can slide down it on one of these. Or more realistically, on my backside. Right, here goes. Whoa! 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 Ow! That's what I like, a chairlift that comes to me. And when you've seen enough sand and need something a little more, well, wet, there's the Wild Wadi Water Park. 1.5 million litres of water flow around this park every single hour. And of course, here in Dubai, where any feat of engineering seems possible, they've even got it to flow uphill. Like perfection. Wild Wadi has 23 rides, including the Flow Rider, which produces a realistic wave effect, ideal for bodyboarding, kneeboarding and surfing. But it's just a little warmer packed for the main attraction, one of the tallest and fastest free-fall speed slides in the world. You know! It was every bit as bad as I thought it would be. I almost lost my top. Oh, word of advice, keep your legs crossed. French writer Victor Hugo described the Channel Islands as little bits of France dropped into the sea and picked up by Britain. Well, Mary Nightingale has gone to see for herself what this island, just 30 miles off the French coast, has to offer.
Guernsey is a peaceful place, much less commercialised than neighbouring Jersey. It's charming with a really friendly atmosphere, and the main town, St Peter Port, is the prettiest in the Channel Islands.
Guernsey is an interesting mixture. It's a crown dependency, which means it has its own independent government, but it relies on Britain for defence. And look at the post boxes. They have the Queen's name on them, but they're blue.
Now, there are plenty of hotels and apartments ranging from the exclusive to your basic B&B. My hotel's right in the centre of St Peter Port. If you're feeling energetic, I reckon a bike's the best way to explore the island.
There are lots of places you can hire bikes, and they've even got a network of cycle paths.
Because there's a speed limit of 35 miles per hour, a car can be a bit of a waste. And if the weather's good, well, it's much more fun in the open air. This is the house where Victor Hugo lived out his exile from France.
Now, apparently, he'd quite often write standing up here looking out of the window, and he was very prolific, something like 20 pages a day of Les Miserables, as well as other works, A Mistress Next Door, and some pretty adventurous interior design too.
From his window, Victor Hugo could see France and the island of Hammam, just 3 miles away. Now, a trip here makes Guernsey look busy. You can walk around this tiny island in around half a day, but be warned because apparently in high season it can get quite crowded.
Well, the boat journey only takes 20 minutes. Locals actually pop over for lunch. And just look at this beach. I mean, you could be in the Caribbean, couldn't you? Now, when I was at school, I was taught that Guernsey was famous for these, but not anymore, because this is the new star of the show. It's a clematis. This nursery supplies 1/5 of all the clematis plants in the world. And in this greenhouse alone, would you believe, there are over 1 million.
Fresh flowers, and now fresh fish. The seafood is what you should go for in Guernsey. Much of it will have been caught that day. You'll find it in most of the island's restaurants, and because there's no VAT, eating out here tends to be a little bit cheaper than in the UK. And you'll always get a table, if you want one that is, because sometimes the simpler alternative is much more fun.
You know, there really is something special about food in Guernsey. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think the best way of explaining it is that it tastes like it used to taste. Look at that. Butter like you have not seen for years. It's so yellow you can hardly believe it. And it tastes just fantastic. And of course, goes without saying, Guernsey cream as well. I'm in heaven.
The High Street in St Peter Port is a good place to shop. And again, the lack of VAT means that things are marginally cheaper.
Because Guernsey is outside the EU, first of all, you get all the tax-free stuff, which is great, but there also are limits on how much you can bring home with you. 200 cigarettes, 1 litre of spirits, 2 litres of wine, and 50 litres of beer, if you can carry them onto the plane. So prices are good, but probably little more than a holiday bonus. Of course, duty-free isn't really what Guernsey's all about, but perhaps this is. All over the island, you'll find stands like this selling flowers and produce and so on, and each one has an honesty box. Now, no one would ever dream of cheating, and perhaps that's what really sums up the place.
Now, if you take a trip to Guernsey, you won't have to change your money as sterling is accepted everywhere. But if you do end up with Guernsey currency in your wallet, you won't be able to use it back in the UK. And now, I'm not sure I believe this one, but I do like it. Men are banned from knitting in the Channel Islands during August and September. Apparently, their ancestors enjoyed getting their needles out so much that their crops went unharvested and were left to rot. So in the 17th century, the government stepped in and banned it. Well, that's all for me right now. We'll be announcing the name of our competition winner in just a few moments, so good luck with that. And have a great weekend. See you next week.
Well done, Peter Camisel from West.